Well, no, she likes Rennie. She likes seeing him in movies.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good for them. Okay. So yeah,
I love this
I
movie.
really liked this film. I'm glad I went in completely blind and knew nothing about it. Yeah, I had a really good time with it.
I feel bad for the people who walk into this and just hate it. I would just wish people could get on the wavelength of this movie. Maybe it's a stretch for some people. I mean, I understand. Yeah, you know what? I don't understand the Rotten score, but
It's like 25% on something.
Yeah, why? This movie's so silly. You can't watch this movie like it's Seven. Like, this isn't Seven. This is just a silly TNT thriller that features your weaknesses, bullets. It's I don't know. It's just I don't. It's so obviously like a B picture. Like, I don't think Rennie Harlan had any bigger aspirations other than just to entertain people.
Yeah, it should be compared to like the Friday the 13th franchise more than it should to Seven, I would say. It's
Yeah,
just like
but to be fair, I don't think horror is ever like happily reviewed. Maybe there's like been a turn recently, but just notoriously like movies that are like a lot of classics or things that have been cult classics get terrible reviews.
That's a great point. I mean, every Saw movie's rotten. Only
even
2
Deep Blue
Final
Sea.
Destination movies. Like,
I think the like House on Haunted Hill remake, 'cause this kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, to me, I'm like, if you went into that and you didn't like enjoy what they were trying to do, it's like not really. I don't know who it's for, but like, and that because I think that movie is very fun.
Me too.
But I think that got really poorly reviewed.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know what people are looking for, because like all the Blade movies are rotten. I think every Friday the 13th movie is rotten except for one. There's 3 fresh Nightmare on Elm Street films. I think there's only 2 fresh Halloween movies that have been made. So yeah, I think you just see this movie like horror. I guess just if it's not like The Witch or
exactly,
A24 horror, I guess people do have a hard time with it. But
yeah, I think they're making some changes now, especially with like not Us. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of the first one?
Get Out.
Yeah, like with like Get Out, I think they're kind of like, oh okay, we gotta start paying attention to these horror movies. But yeah, so House on Haunted Hill has a 31%, which is like a little nuts. Like, 'cause everybody's working well in that. Like, there's not that much to complain about unless you just straight up don't like horror movies. So I don't know. I don't understand like reviewing the movie not for what it, like, you have to at least give it for what it's trying to achieve there.
Yeah, these films are made to be entertaining and fun. And
yes.
I had a lot of fun with this film, and I had a lot of fun with House on Hill remake, and pretty much every. Well, like the first Friday the 13th, I didn't have fun with. I didn't like that as much. I've never seen any of the sequels, but from what I've heard, some of those sequels go in fun directions, and I would probably enjoy watching those, and we'll give them a positive review.
Jason Lives.
I have this theory that like the eyes of the audience now, they end up like bumping, like, let's say tomato meter, like bumping those scores higher, because you'll notice something like the first John Wick movie, it got fairly decent reviews, but I think like it was such a like cult sensation that by the time they make a sequel, which in my opinion, I like all the sequels, but those are like always reviewed higher, because like they're like, okay, we know what John Wick is now. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you get those things where if someone has watched it and been like, oh, this is actually like very competently directed, the action is super inventive, blah blah blah, and it gets like a slightly positive response, but then by the time they come around, meaning like if a film like Mindhunter, I feel like either had somebody else attached to it that critics were excited about at the time, or that director had previously directed something that I guess they had, but I don't know. You know
Bernie was on a bad run there for a little bit.
Yeah, like people forgot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But because what's Deep Blue Sea's tomato meter?
59.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what else would should that movie have done? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're
like, what did they want? What did they want to happen? Were they not like? Are you not entertained with this?
But Deep Blue Sea, it was fresh at one point. It was at 60%, and it just got a couple more bad reviews, and
Mm.
But how do you watch that movie and say, I hate that movie? Like, I don't I just, it's a summer shark movie with genetically modified sharks. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
The worst thing that sometimes what annoys me, and I guess I'm guilty of it too, but people go watch Mindhunters and like, well, it won't win an Oscar, but it's pretty fun. I'm like,
yeah,
it's like, not trying to.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's what frustrates me too, is like there's a lot of movies that they will positively review that are like not going to win Oscars. So what is that like? What is your logic there? It just like isn't family friendly enough, or where's the bar? And I think like sadly that is where it is. Like there's like a weird morality element to even film reviewers that I think is changing over time. But like, I'm sorry, I just went to go read. I know we're not on Deep Blue Sea anymore, but like just went to read it and it says, Deep Blue Sea is no Jaws, but action fans seeking toothy action can certainly do and almost certainly have had worse B-movie thrills. Which is like, 9 out of 10, I like the tomato meter. But like, what is that review? The review is basically that like, you could have had a worse movie. And thinking about the legacy of Deep Blue Sea, it's like, do you want to review that? Like, do you want to rewind a little bit? Do you remember Sam Jackson's arm getting bitten off? Everyone does.
It's not trying to be Jaws. Like, it's not.
No, it's not the same
movie. The weirdest comparison.
Well, there's a shark in it, so I guess we have to compare every movie that has a shark in it. It's crazy.
To be fair, Rotten Tomatoes did let me write a 20th anniversary piece for Deep Blue Sea, though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Rotten Tomatoes. I actually think I'm usually in line with the consensus, I think, unless it's like, if it's horror, I give it a slant.
This film didn't win any Oscars, but it was LL Cool J was nominated for Choice Rap Artist in a Movie at the Teen Choice Awards.
Hell yeah.
Which he lost out to Nelly in The Longest Yard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Well, that's a Sandler picture. Kids love those.
Other nominees are Ja Rule in Assault on Precinct 13.
Nelly was hot that year.
Andre 3000 in Be Cool, Queen Latifah in Beauty Shop, Ludacris in Crash, Yasin Bey in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Ice Cube in XXX2 The Next Level.
Oh, Mos Def had that one. Mos Def should have won.
LL Cool J, come on. Actually, I think Ludacris is pretty good in Crash, I gotta say.
Ford Fairlane. No, is he Ford Fairlane?
Rennie Harlin is Ford Fairlane.
No, what's his character's name in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Oh, Ford Prefect.
Oh, Ford Prefect.
Ford Fairlane is another Rennie Harlin film. Which I can't find.
Ford Mustang.
Because he just names himself after the car, the Ford Prefect. Yeah, it's my favorite book, not my favorite film. Okay, so because of the way I watched this film, it's recorded off the TV. I couldn't, with like ad breaks in it and stuff, I couldn't go through my usual detailed, deepest, bluest analysis in terms of the depth and the blueness. I had to just kind of estimate. And most of this film takes place above water, like on land, if you will. It's underwater in the opening segment, in the opening credits. Sarah's having a dream or a nightmare of her sister drowning, and then there's the bit with the periscope gunfight. And the boat explosion! The boat explodes with just the worst CGI boat explosion, green screen horrendousness I've ever seen. I had to rewind it because my wife was looking away from the screen at that point. I had to show her the outline around the characters as they were dragged by a mouse away from the explosion. Anyway, so those are the only bits that happen underwater. So for the most part, this is probably going to be about 1 or 2 stories above sea level, depth-wise. Probably making it the least steep. Yeah, film we've covered so far, and it wasn't particularly blue either. I estimate about 15 to 20%. I apologise it isn't as detailed as normal, but like I say, it's on my TV. Working out time breaks and things with ad breaks in the middle would be a nightmare. And I'm a bit short for time this week, so that's the best you're going to get, I'm afraid. But so yeah, not deep, not blue, basically. Unfortunately. But one thing I have been doing is comparing this film, any similarities that it's got to Deep Blue Sea. Got a little list for this one, as you might expect, with it being a Rennie Harlin film coming immediately after Deep Blue Sea, pretty much. So LL Cool J is in this film. Hurrah. It's mainly set on a distant remote facility surrounded by water.
Whoa!
There's a scene in an elevator and a scene of cooking in a kitchen. The plot revolves around some kind of a test having to be done in a short amount of time. There's a surprise death of a high-profile actor very early on, earlier than expected. There's an electrocution death sequence. There's booby traps. The main villain, Johnny Miller, is herding the rest of the cast towards their fates, just like the Sharks did. There's a scene where LL Cool J is walking around with kind of like a camera. It's a heat sensor thing. It reminded me of the sequence he gives his monologue to. And there's 2 survivors at the end. One of them's LL Cool J. And there's a scene towards the end where LL Cool J is badly incapacitated, but still comes back to save the day right at the end, just like in Deep Blue Sea. So This is the most Deep Blue Sea-like film we've had so far.
You missed one, Jay.
What did I miss?
Just like the shark, they're hunting you with their mind.
Indeed they are. They should have called it that. Okay. So any other notes on this film?
I love this movie.
It's right.
I love it. And I'm very happy I bought it for $2.
I may add this to a list of if I see it for a quid somewhere, I might pick it up. The only other note I've got is that Johnny Miller sounds like a robot cowboy. And then I realised that in Westworld, Clifton Collins Jr. plays a robot cowboy. So that's nice.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Lindsay, what have you got to plug? Anything to promote?
Nothing much. So thanks for having me.
You want to throw out a plug for Yes Please Vintage?
Sure.
I feel like I
vintage
direct you
stuff.
to do this every time you're on.
I know. I don't. I'm not here for it. But
you never
know. I also used to have / still have a film website, French to Sunday.
It's how we met.
It is how we met, and it's still around. You can go to it. But yeah, it's sort of dormant at the moment. And if you like vintage housewares and clothing, I have my own shop, and it's called Yes Please Vintage, and you can find it at yespleasevintage.com.
Excellent. As for me, you can find more of my writing over at lifeversusfilm.com. Rarely, I don't do a lot there. Last posted a couple of months ago at this point. And you can hear me monthly over on the Lambcast, where I host a movie trivia show called Lampardy, based on Jeopardy. It's a fun time. Mark, what have you got to plug?
See, Movies, Films, and Flicks, Movies, Films on FLIX. You can go to the website, check out all the articles and data articles. Also the podcast, listen to that podcast. We're currently #1 in Gambia, so we're back to #1 there, which is awesome. And let's see, Rotten Tomatoes, you can go read my articles there. You can listen to Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong. I pulled the research for that. Then go to Rotten Tomatoes Versus on YouTube and watch the Deep Blue Sea video that we put up. It has about 70,000 views, Jay. And so about 70,000 people have seen the promotion for Deep Blue Sea podcast and witnessed the victory of Deep Blue Sea, which is amazing. And then head to Fandom. I do their By the Numbers posts. I do the research and stats. So if you go to Fandom, go to By the Numbers and you can watch those videos. And then Film Theory, you can watch my videos there. I got one coming out about the Quiet Place franchise, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Hereditary, and Snickers bars. So head over there on YouTube and you can listen to it, watch them.
Wait a minute. Is it about how all those movies connect to Snickers bars?
No, they're all 3 individual episodes. So I got
I'm just messing with you.
That'd be, that totally went over my head, but if I could do that, that'd be a beautiful. Well, okay. So Charlie likes chocolate and there's nuts and Snickers bars. So then that's a Hereditary Snickers.
And everybody in Hereditary is nuts.
And there's a cult pulling the strings in Hereditary. So then in Pirates, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Let's see.
Wait, that's
really,
Mindhunters.
Wait. Oh. Have you both seen Hereditary?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a bunch of like white collar cultists trying to get some sweet demon money, and so Pirates of the Caribbean, they're looking for treasure.
Yep.
So that's the same thing as these cults. They're like, we're just gonna wait 30 years and do some stuff, and we're gonna stuff this demon into this girl, even though the demon hates it, because this cult on the East Coast is trying to do it. So we got to stash Paimon away into Charlie. Then we got to wait for Peter.
Is this a good time to talk about? I have a conspiracy theory about a film conspiracy theory.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I know we're at the end of this episode. You can totally cut this out.
I was thinking the same thing.
All right, let's wrap it up and then I'll talk to you guys.
So thank you, Lindsay, for joining us today.
Thanks.
As for me, I'm Jake Lurt.